in the intricate interplay between education, technology, and societal transformation. Few developments have been as impactful or as urgent as the integration of artificial intelligence, AI, into the educational landscape as the world confronts an accelerating wave of digitalization across all sectors. Education has emerged not only as a field influenced by this transformation, but also as a critical agent in shaping its direction. The advent of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, often defined by its fusion of physical, digital, and biological spheres, positions AI as both a tool and a challenge within this evolving context. The field of education has been tasked with reimagining its core methodologies, objectives, and practices to align with a rapidly transforming digital society. The present research is situated within this intersection, exploring the impact, possibilities, and challenges of integrating AI into basic education, particularly within the Brazilian context. Through the lens of Paulo Freire's pedagogy and the theoretical framework of complexity as proposed by MOURN, the necessity of this inquiry stems from profound changes in the nature of knowledge, communication, and learning. These changes are not limited to the proliferation of digital technologies in classrooms, but extend to deeper epistemological questions about how knowledge is constructed, validated, and disseminated in a world mediated by algorithms and intelligent systems. In Brazil, as in many parts of the world, public education systems grapple with chronic issues of inequality, underfunding, and pedagogical stagnation. These issues are exacerbated by the uneven distribution of digital infrastructure and the varying levels of digital literacy among educators and students. Despite the promise of AI to democratize access to quality education, improve personalization, and enhance administrative efficiency, its implementation in basic education remains limited, inconsistent, and largely untheorized within a framework that takes into account the cultural, ethical, and political dimensions of technology use in education. Against this backdrop, the theoretical contributions of Paulo Freire offer a critical and humanistic approach to education that centers the learner as an active participant in the construction of knowledge, advocating for a pedagogy of dialogue, emancipation, and critical consciousness. Freire's vision of education as a practice of freedom contrasts sharply with instrumentalist or technocratic visions that often accompany the introduction of digital technologies in schools. His insistence on contextualizing learning within the lived experiences and socio-political realities of students becomes especially relevant when considering the implementation of AI, which often arrives embedded with assumptions, values, and priorities that may not align with local needs or pedagogical goals. This research proposes that Freire's pedagogy provides a necessary ethical and political compass for navigating the complexities of AI in education, ensuring that its integration does not undermine but rather supports the development of critical, autonomous, and socially responsible learners. Complementing Freire's pedagogy is MOURN's theory of complexity, which challenges linear, reductionist, and fragmented ways of thinking. MOURN emphasizes the interconnectedness of phenomena, the uncertainty inherent in knowledge production, and the importance of contextual and transdisciplinary approaches. His notion of complex thought provides a powerful antidote to the often overly simplistic narratives surrounding AI in education, which tend to frame technology as either a panacea or a threat. Instead, a complex approach demands that we hold multiple perspectives in tension, consider the unintended consequences of technological adoption, and remain attentive to the ethical, cultural, and epistemological dimensions of educational innovation. In this way, MOURN's work helps to frame the use of AI not as a technical issue alone, but as a profoundly human and social one, situated within broader ecological systems of meaning, power, and knowledge. This research, therefore, does not seek to merely evaluate the effectiveness of AI tools in improving educational outcomes, or to catalog the latest technological innovations available to schools. Rather, it aims to interrogate the conditions under which AI can be integrated into basic education in a way that is ethically responsible, pedagogically sound, and socially just. The focus on Brazilian basic education reflects both a personal and political commitment to understanding how global technological trends intersect with local educational realities, particularly in contexts marked by social inequality and historical exclusion. The Brazilian case offers a unique lens through which to examine the promises and perils of AI in education, given its complex socioeconomic landscape, diverse educational needs, and vibrant traditions of critical pedagogy and social activism. In pursuing this inquiry, the research embraces a methodology grounded in critical reflexive analysis, drawing on documentary sources, academic literature, and field studies where available, to map the current landscape of AI in Brazilian education, and to envision possible futures. The approach is not predictive, but imaginative and analytical, seeking to explore scenarios, identify tensions, and highlight opportunities for transformative practice. Central to this endeavor is the recognition that education is not a neutral or apolitical space, and that the technologies we choose to adopt or resist reflect deeper values and aspiration about the kind of society we wish to build. The integration of AI into education is thus not a technical decision but a political and pedagogical one, requiring sustained reflection, dialogue, and collective deliberation. Moreover, the research is informed by a broader epistemological stance that challenges dichotomies between nature and culture, subject and object, mind and machine. This stance draws inspiration from posthumanist and decolonial critiques that question the universality of Western technological paradigms and highlight the need for pluriversal approaches that honor diverse ways of knowing, being, and learning. Within this framework, AI is not merely a tool to be deployed, but a phenomenon to be understood relationally, within specific socio-historical contexts and power dynamics. In this sense, the work aligns with emerging perspectives that seek to decolonize digital futures and to reimagine education as a site of ecological, social, and epistemic regeneration. As such, the study engages with AI not as a monolithic or deterministic force, but as a field of contested meanings, practices, and possibilities. It critically examines how AI is represented in policy discourses, educational reforms, and technological imaginaries, and how these representations influence decision-making at the institutional level. It also considers the lived experiences of educators and students as they encounter, resist, or adapt to AI technologies in their daily practices. Through this multi-layered analysis, the research hopes to contribute to a more nuanced and context-sensitive understanding of what it means to educate in the age of AI, and how we might cultivate pedagogical practices that are both technologically aware and deeply humanizing. In sum, this work seeks to illuminate the tensions and synergies between AI and education, between technological innovation and pedagogical ethics, between global trends and local realities, by bringing together the critical pedagogy of Paulo Freire and the epistemological insights of Edgar Morin. It offers a framework for thinking about education not as a site of technological implementation, but as a space of collective transformation. This perspective calls for educators, policymakers, and technologists alike to engage in a continuous process of reflection, dialogue, and action, guided by the principles of justice, equity, and complexity. In doing so, it aspires to contribute not only to academic debates, but to the broader struggle for an education that is worthy of our collective humanity in a digitally mediated world. The rapid expansion of artificial intelligence technologies in education raises important questions about the nature of learning, teaching, and the roles of educators and students. AI, often promoted for its potential to personalize learning experiences, automate administrative tasks, and provide data-driven insights, simultaneously challenges traditional educational paradigms. This dual nature requires careful examination, especially in contexts where education is deeply intertwined with social justice and empowerment. In Brazil, where disparities in access and quality remain significant, the introduction of AI must be critically situated to avoid perpetuating existing inequalities or creating new forms of exclusion. The assumption that technological progress inherently leads to educational improvement overlooks the complexity of sociocultural realities and risks reducing education to a technical problem rather than a deeply human endeavor. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders, and don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are starting to swirl around Henderson, Nevada, where the Las Vegas Raiders conduct their off-season training activities. Star edge rusher Max Crosby reportedly suffered an injury during a recent team practice, sending waves of concern through the organization and igniting speculation among fans and insiders alike. Though no official statement has been released by the team regarding the nature or severity of the injury, sources close to the situation hint that Crosby was seen limping off the field after an intense drill late last week. Team personnel were quick to downplay the moment, but the silence since has only fueled the growing chatter. Some in the league circle are beginning to wonder if the Raiders might be dealing with more than just a minor setback. Crosby, The emotional and physical leader of the Raiders' defense is coming off one of the best seasons of his career, with 14.5 sacks and a relentless motor that energizes the entire unit. His presence is nothing short of vital. Losing him, even temporarily, could have ripple effects across the roster and potentially force the Raiders' front office to consider contingency plans heading into training camp. There's no shortage of speculation about how serious the situation might be. Some believe the coaching staff is simply exercising caution and giving their Pro Bowl pass rusher a bit of rest, especially given his well-known drive to push through pain. Others fear the injury might be more significant than anyone is letting on, possibly something that could impact the start of the regular season internally. The team is likely weighing their options. If Crosby is out for any length of time, the pressure will fall on younger players like Malcolm Kuntz and draft pick Tyree Wilson to step up in a big way. That's a tall order, especially considering Crosby's unique ability to disrupt opposing offenses almost single-handedly. For now, Raider Nation can only wait and worry until more concrete details emerge. The buzz around Max Crosby's injury remains just that, a rumor. But in the high-stakes world of the NFL, even whispers can mean a storm is brewing. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.